Hi everyone, this is Lori from My File Addiction. Today I'm going to talk about working with Rhinestone fonts that come as a SVG file and working with them in Cricut Design Space. There's two types of Rhinestone fonts. There's ones that you install on your computer and you would select from a font menu. These are considered typable fonts. Then there's other ones that come in an SVG file. So that's the ones that I'm going to talk about. I'm going to go over a single color font and how to use a font that has two stone colors. So I'm going to work with the two color font first. So I'm going to select upload and I'm going to upload image, go to browse, and I am going to select my let's see here. I have a 2-inch athletic letters. When you purchase files from me, you're going to look for a SVG file that has either Cricut or Cricut Brother at the end of the file name. The Cricut file is an older version which will still work in your program. The Cricut Brother is a newer version, and that one works in both Cricut and Brother Scan and Cut. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to select open, and I will select save. Then I'm going to select the file and select insert image. Okay, so you can see this is a two-color letter, and this note down here is basically for my Brother Scan and Cut users to make sure the file comes in at the correct size for them. Their program will resize Rhinestone files, so this gives them the instructions to resize it back to the correct size. Design Space users, you should not have a problem, but it's always good to double check. So now this file comes in grouped, and as you can see it's 15 by 4.94 by 9.074. So you're going to say, oh, well, this does not match these measurements. Well, that's because it says the entire group of letters above should measure this. So what we need to do is we can right click and select ungroup, which now ungroups the letters from the note. So now if we just select just the group of letters, we can see that it measures 14.436 by 6.64, which is the exact measurements I put down here. So now we can delete this note. So now I believe that, yes, this is, all these letters are still grouped together. So what we need to do again is right click and select ungroup again. Okay, so in order for Rhinestone files to be able to upload correctly in Cricut Design Space, these circles that make up the letter have to be grouped together. Okay, so basically you have the outside color and the inside color. All the circles are grouped together. So that makes it perfect for as far as creating our words. So we manually have to put our letters together to build words because we cannot type them out. But what I find is maybe a little bit easier to do is to create a master file with having the inside and the outside colors all grouped together as one object, not two separate objects. So you can see all the outside letters are one object, and then if you scroll down, all the inside letters are a separate one. So what you would go through is you would go through your entire alphabet, and you just have to do this once, because if you create a master file and you save it and then you always go back to your master file, not the file that you brought in, not the SVG file that you brought in that's in your library, but you go to your save file and you bring this one in, it will automatically come in with your letters grouped the way we're going to do it, and you will never have to do this again. So what you would do is you would select each letter, make sure you select both the gray circles and the red. So by doing that, we draw the imaginary box, and just make sure you're selecting just that letter. If you happen to draw your box too far over, it selects both letters, and we don't want that. So we're going to select just the Z, and we will go through, and you can either go up here and select group, or you can, let's see, or you can right click and select group. Okay, so what you would do is you would do that for each of the letters. So I've already set up a master file. So after you're done selecting and grouping all of your letters, you would go to save, and then you could select save again over here. And what it would do is actually it saved it as a athletic 2 color. So then when you want to use this file, I don't know if it overrode my other file or not, but let's see if it did or not. Go to my projects, and it did. It overrode my file. So I probably shouldn't have done that. But what you would do is you would go to your projects, select customize, and we want to, a project already exists, we want to replace it. Okay, so what this does is, okay, so these 2 letters are grouped, nope, that one's not even grouped together. So let's see. So that, let's see, you may have to use the group option up here in order to group them, because I think I might have done the right click. Let's try this again. I right click and select group. Let's see, does it group? Nope, see, it doesn't group them. So I'm not quite sure why that feature is not working, but you're going to have to use the group up here at the top. Okay, so what I'm going to do to make this go faster is I'm going to spell out the word bride. So I'm only going to group the B, the D, E, I, and the R. Okay, so we're going to pretend that this is our master file, and when I brought it in, all of our letters were grouped together. So when they're all grouped together, it just allows you to go and just select anywhere on that letter, and you can bring it down and see how it brings down both pieces. So we're going to select the R, the I, and the D, and the E. Okay, so basically when you're lining these up, just kind of worry about your spacing. Don't worry about if the letters are in a straight line, okay? Because one of the features in your program will work as far as lining your letters up. So once you get your spacing kind of the way you want it, you're going to select your entire word, and then you're going to go to your align tool here up at the top. And what we can choose is, because this is a block style letter, we can choose to either align this to the top, or we can do it to the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to select bottom, and see if you notice that moved and perfectly lined all of your letters up to the bottom of each letter. Now, unfortunately, your program, it does have a feature to distribute everything horizontally or vertically, but I notice when you select this, it doesn't. I don't know why that feature doesn't work, but in most programs, what it would do is it would space those letters out perfectly. But as you can see, it moved the B or the R closer to the B and the D closer to the E. So that's why I said to worry about manually spacing your letters out, because obviously you can't use that feature. I don't know what it is, but okay. So what we need to do now is we could either delete all these letters, or you can go through and you could hide them if you wanted to, just so we would be working with just the 5 letters that we want to cut. So for right now, I'm just going to delete. Okay, so if you were to do that and you go to save your project again, you wouldn't want to override your other project, because that will override the original master copy that has all the alphabet in it, and you wouldn't want to do that. You would want to select the save as, and then that way you could just save it as a bride file, and then that way it won't override the entire alphabet. Okay, so we are going to select this. Now, in order to be able to cut the design so all the red pieces stay together and all the gray pieces stay together, what we need to do here is we need to ungroup these, okay? Because if we were to select this right now and we were to select make it, we would get scrambled letters. They would be separated, but as you can tell, it's not in bright order anymore, okay? So we need to keep it as a word. So most programs allow you to select the entire word, and then you would be able to ungroup it, but as you can see, that's grayed out. So unfortunately, with your program, each letter has to be ungrouped separately. So now we can see that over here, all of our letters are now all individual objects, the gray part and the red part. Okay, so I think I'm gonna, I'm gonna close in the spacing on the D just a little bit to the I. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to select just the gray circles for each letter. So you're gonna select, and then you're going to hold down your shift key, go to the next one, select, keep your shift key held down, select, select, select. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to the bottom right here and we're going to select attach. And what that does now is those attach all those letters together. So now it makes it easier. Now we can, if you separate the two, we can select these. Now you have to make sure that none of these get moved around, because they need to be able to perfectly fit inside of these gray circles. So you're going to select it without moving any lettering, and then you're going to select attach again. Okay, so now if we select make it, now we can see bride is all spelt the correct way for the gray part, and then for the red part, all the letters are spelt correctly for that too. Okay, so on to working with a just a single color letter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to upload, browse, and I have a script font. O2B, and I'm going to go to my Cricut Brother version, which is an SVG. And I'm going to open that up. I'm going to save, select it, upload image, and why didn't that come in? Let's go back. Upload. Okay, this is the file. Insert image. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now this is a larger font because it has both upper and lowercase letters. So we're going to kind of back out here so we can see everything. Okay, so the first thing is it's all grouped together. Okay, and now we see our measurements, and we look up here and we can see that our measurements are exactly what I state here in the note. And the reason this file is done this way is because I included the measurements somewhere inside of what it is. So if you were to select the entire alphabet, this little note here didn't add on any more to the measurement. Okay, I was able to kind of sneak it in there so that way when everything comes in, it came into the size that I stated on here. So it's about, you know, sometimes I will do it this way. It's about reading the way I say that the measurements are in order to see what you need to select. Sometimes it'll be an individual template, which includes the black box. Sometimes it will be the entire file that I have you bring in. So, okay, so I'm going to select ungroup, and then I'm just going to delete this. Okay. So now these are already grouped together, and like I said, the reason we do this is because your program cannot accept designs where the circles are all individual objects. So I have to pre-group them in another program, and then I save it as an SVG file, and then when it's uploaded, everything's all grouped together. So this one will be a little bit easier to work with because you're only working with one color. So if we were to, you wouldn't have to create a master file for this. You could save it still without the measurements if you wanted to, or you can just go back into your library and you can keep uploading that same file and just delete the measurements. So you do whatever's easiest for you. But we're going to spell out bride with this one too. So I'm going to select the B, and I'm going to do the R, I, D, and E. Okay, so I don't need the rest of these letters, so I'm just going to delete them. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to bring it back, move it up here because it seems to, when you zoom in, it wants to go to that corner. So we're going to zoom in. A lot of times zooming in close to the letters, it makes it easier to kind of line things up. Okay, so again, we are going to just kind of worry about our spacing right now. And we'll manually kind of connect that. And then I'm going to do, right now I'm going to do like this. And then I'm going to do the E. Okay, so with this particular font, it's a newer style script font, so the letters aren't always made to line up perfectly. So you can either use your alignment tool if you want. So what we'll do is we'll select this, and we will go up to our alignment tool, and then we're going to select to the bottom. And as you can kind of see, it lines everything up. So we could just bring our B in a little bit closer, and that looks fine too. Sometimes with these letters, you know, the D sometimes are made to kind of be staggered like this, so then you could just manually kind of bring that over, and that looks cute too. So you kind of just use your best judgment as far as these types of fonts. You know, have fun, move kind of things around and try different ways. So I think it looks kind of cute like this. So you could, you know, with the R too, because it's a taller letter, you could bring this down and match it kind of up with, you know, the bottom of the D. And if you wanted it to line up perfectly with the D, what you could do is select the R, hold down your shift key, select the D, and go up to your alignment tool, select bottom, and what it will do is it will line those two up. Okay, so then we could select everything here. Oops, I touched that R a little bit, and I could manually just kind of bring that over like that. And also, you know, having these guidelines on your screen is also a good way. I do that a lot myself. I will put the letters on those guidelines, use the darker ones because they're a little bit easier to see, but as you can kind of see, it helps kind of use it as a manual guide, so that way you can kind of visually see if you know, things are kind of lined up that way. So if you get your wording the way you want it to, you would select all your wording, and then you would go to, you have to go to attach again, because if we didn't and we go to make it, as you can see now, this is what it does for the word bride. So we select cancel, select our whole word, select attach. Now if we go to make it, it's now all one word, and you can cut it and it'll all be perfect. So I hope this information was helpful, and have a great day.